Funny Reddit posts and comments. Every Sunday 3 p.m. British time. Pawn shop owners, what was the most illegal thing a customer had brought to your shop? Worked at a gun shop and a shady looking guy brought in a few pairs of night vision goggles, like high-end military grade PVS 14 night vision goggles. Ask him why he was selling them. Oh, I just don't need them anymore. Cool man, do you mind if I call the company real quick and run the numbers? Sometimes this stuff is stolen property. And as soon as I said that, he jumped across the counter, grabbed the goggles, and bolted for the door. That Camaro payment at 29.7% APR hits different after a few months. R/just boot things. Grew up in a military family, didn't know how much I needed that sub until now. This just reminded me of my friend who pawned the DSLR camera I let him borrow for a school project. I asked for it back a good amount of times, and not once did he tell me what he did. I had to hear it from someone else, and then he claimed that I gave it to him. Did you get the money back? What camera was it? Nope. He never paid me for it. And it was a Canon EOS Rebel T3i. They aren't worth much now, but this was 5 years ago, and it broke my heart, because it was a gift from my dad, and I had considered him a close friend. This is why small claims court exists. Should have just sued him for the value of the camera and called it a day. I know it wouldn't have replaced the sentimental value, but it would teach this friend a lesson, hopefully. Getting a small claims judgment is easy. Actually collecting your judgment is often a complete waste of times. Most crackheads and thieves tend to not have any money in the first place. Employee not owner. A guy brought in a stack of like 15 laptops that all said property of City Public School right on the top of each one. He then threatened to shoot me when I told him to get out. Edit, because it's been brought up multiple times. Yes, I'm aware that schools/businesses, etc. sometimes sell off old laptops. Which is why I don't flat out call the cops whenever somebody brings in a suspected stolen item. There's always the chance that no matter how obviously stolen it is, the person owns it legit. However, I'm not going to risk my job or my conscience by taking in an item if it has a label on it claiming it's somebody else's property. Also, how am I supposed to sell a laptop that says property of City Public Schools on it? Pawn shops have a bad enough rap as it is. What's the proper protocol for a situation like this? Call the cops? Boot the guy? Kick them out? And lock them out of the system? What do you mean by out of the system? We can lock them out of our system. Meaning they can't sell/pawn an item in our store. So do you take down all of their information first and act like you're going to do it, then put in the computer as do not buy from this guy or something? Otherwise, what stops him from just coming back in like 3 months? That particular guy was a regular, so everyone knew him. But you pretty much nailed it. When you come in the first time, we take all of your information and set up an account. And I can simply check the lockout button under your name and you can no longer do a transaction at any of my stores. That'd be the point where I'd probably shoot you if I was going to, but you wouldn't necessarily know. The owner could just say, we need time to process the request, we'll let you know when it's ready, and never call back. Buddy of mine worked at a pawn shop for a few years. They had a guy try to sell them a police walkie-talkie, like straight stolen from a car, but with the battery taken out. They told him to get ducked and called the cops. I believe they picked the guy up a few hours later. How is that possible if the guy could hear their every communication? Lies. But with the battery taken out. He got charged, but not with battery, so that was probably a smart move. The charge of battery was discharged when the assumed discharged battery was found, fully charged. Not an owner, but an employee. A man brought in a bag of cocaine and said if I would buy it then wrestle it back to him in a couple of days. Mind if I call in a buddy? He's an expert in cocaine. Tyrone Biggums has entered the chat. East Side. Hey boss, This guy just sold us 10 kilos of cocaine and wants to buy it back in a few days. Weird. What's the point in just exchanging 5 kilograms of drugs back and forth? Is this some sort of scam? I dunno. When he comes back to pick up his 2.5 kilograms, we'll have to ask about that. Today police recovered 299 kilos of cocaine. 299. Oh yeah. Not an owner, but I got a call from a pawn shop saying that one of my at-home employees tried to sell her work computer. It has my company's logo and contact info right on it, plain as day. How stupid can some people be? A school security guard pawned his service pistol and other equipment. He got caught by his supervisor carrying around a pellet gun. Link. Why am I not at all surprised that it's Florida? I knew someone once who was into some bad stuff. He didn't have his school provided laptop at class one day and never again after that. As it turns out, it was his. For these laptops were indeed our own personal property, even though the school gave them to us. But the thing is, what they meant by giving each student a nice free laptop was overcharging that for ×2 and building it into the price of tuition and, therefore, the student loan. So, I had that computer for a while. He sold his to a pawn store. How many college students do you know would refuse a new MacBook Pro back in 2010 that they wouldn't have to pay for until they began paying back their students' loans? A guy literally brought in an RPG. He was doing yard work for this old lady whose husband had passed. She gave it to him for doing some yard work, not realizing it was live and active. The guy was career military, and after the bomb squad came and disabled it, they went to her house and found a trove of similarly very illegal military grade weapons. Not that I'd want anyone to get hurt, but a little old lady in a violent standoff with police would seriously break the tension. Old lady with rocket launcher or squad of police with pistols. Who wins? Old lady distracts police squad with knitted sweater and cookies and a rocket launcher. I feel like one of those would be more distracting than the others. I mean, who can turn down freshly baked cookies? Hey, do you like watching memes? If you do, make sure to check out my other channel, Meme Cheese. I post hilarious weekly memes every Sunday and memes from different topics randomly. Make sure to subscribe. Link to the channel is below. Just a worker here, but we had a couple come in to pawn their backhoe over the weekend. Happens a lot, and brought their bill of sale. They wanted a simple $1K loan, which wasn't bad considering how much it was worth. No more than 30 minutes later, cops are there with the owner. Apparently they worked for him and went and pawned all of his industrial equipment. How did that go? You had to return it, I assume. Did you get your $1K back from the thief? It went as well as they usually do. Police confiscated the item to use it in court to try and extend the sentence. We lost the $1K because cops tried to tack it on during the legal process. We receive restitution from them for usually a week of about $50 payments, then no more payments after, usually because they aren't working or aren't making enough in jail. You can/don't check for proof of ownership on things like that. Like and subscribe in the next 5 seconds or this pigeon will eat you on April 20th, 2069. So I'm not an owner and I wouldn't call this illegal per se, but I feel like I have to share this. A friend of mine owns a pawn shop, and one day a dude walks in with a cardboard box filled to the top with his own crap. He claims that it's magic and my friend cuts him off right there and kicks him out. As he is walking out, he drops the box on accident, gets all of his crap on the floor, sees the mess he's made, stares at the horrid pile of crap for a couple of seconds, and runs out of the shop. My friend never got his name and never saw him again. The smell would proceed to linger in the shop for a good month after it was cleaned up. Edit. Typo. When you wrote crap, I presumed you meant stuff, and it was further into the story that my understanding changed. I would like to go back a few minutes and not keep reading. Thanks for watching the video guys. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss an upload. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter for exclusive updates and content as well. Goodbye.